Sakura, measuring worth.
It looks like I finally caught up to them.
At this point, it's basically a meme. Sakura is useless. While it certainly is true that she has her faults, I sometimes wonder how true this really is. After all, for all of her bad moments, she has had some good ones too. Some very important moments. She may be annoying, but she can get some stuff done. So what I would like to do today is measure her worth. How useless is Sakura really? And more importantly, if she is useless, does she remain this way? Grab a seat and make sure your milk isn't out of date because we're going to talk about Sakura. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, I just posted a new video on my vlog channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys would consider checking it out. I'll link it on the screen now, in the description, and in a pinned comment. I'd really like to grow that channel, so if you guys could comment on that video what you'd like to see next, we'll make sure to do whatever the comment with the most likes recommends. Within reason. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. For all we know of Sakura's background, we know she has a rather ordinary life. She's an ordinary girl. She's probably not too unlike how most of us would be if we suddenly found ourselves living in the Naruto world. Just an ordinary girl with an ordinary life. Nothing really tragic has happened to her, and her biggest issue to deal with is her forehead. She was friends with Ino, and eventually developed a crush on our edgy ninja pal Sasuke. Her story arc practically revolves around the guy. One cannot mention Sakura without mentioning Sasuke as well. Of course, this made a slightly funny sort of love. Well, not really a triangle, unless... Anyway, it can be quite comical at times, but eventually it grows stale. She cries often and really seemed to only be there as a plot device for a good bit of part 1. Besides her slight comedy relief moments such as Inner Sakura and those moments where she surpassed Naruto and Sasuke in intelligence chakra control, she didn't really have much going for her. At the start of the first part, she's very hostile towards Naruto and regrets being put into the same team as he is. When it comes down to the bell test, she wasn't very much help, and passed out more than once. She passed out when Kakashi put her into a genjutsu, where she saw Sasuke mortally wounded, and she did so a second time when she came upon Sasuke, who had been buried up to the neck by one of Kakashi's techniques. Instead of helping Sasuke out, she screams that he's been decapitated and passed out again. She also, during part 1, was not very good at taijutsu and combat. She had the capacity to be intelligent and analytical to the point that she could rival Sasuke's Sharingan, as well as solve the Chunin exam's written tests without cheating, which was considered a near impossibility for getting of that rank. Due to being less skilled at taijutsu during the Land of Waves, she served more as a meat shield for Tazuna rather than a fighter like Sasuke and Naruto were. After their fight with Zabuza, Kakashi gives them some training while he recovers from overusing his chakra. He teaches them how to control the chakra on their feet so they could easily climb trees and stand on water. It was actually Sakura who explained the process when Kakashi asked her to, and she was the first to master it, quickly surpassing even Sasuke and Naruto. This incredible chakra control would prove to be quite the boon to her in the future. During the Chunin exams, as said earlier, she breezed through the written test without having to cheat, which was not something expected of getting of that level. However, she has a far harder time in the second test, the Forest of Death. Once more, she doesn't do much fighting against Orochimaru, but she does save Naruto from falling to his possible death and to convince Sasuke to fight back. When both are knocked unconscious, she takes the initiative to watch over them until they wake, setting up clever traps and spotting other enemy traps. Of course, she falls asleep quite often, but she manages to hold off until Rock Lee shows up to aid her. She shows some courage during the fight, even sacrificing her long hair in an effort to beat her opponent. They eventually advance to the exhibition matches that serve as the third test of the Chunin exams. Sakura's first and only match was with her former bestie, Ino Yamanaka. They exchange insults and blows, and Sakura manages to break out of Ino's mind-body switch technique. They then pass out from exhaustion. She's present during the match with Sasuke and the beginning of the Konoha Crush. She easily dispels the genjutsu that is brought down on the stadium and proceeds to wake up the others as well. She follows after Sasuke, who's chasing Gaara. She's immediately glued to a tree by Gaara without so much as an actual fight. After this, she continues to obsess over Sasuke, visiting him every day he's in the hospital. I have to say, everything everyone's saying about Sakura is mostly true currently. When Sasuke and Naruto fight and produce both a Chidori and Rasengan respectively, Sakura throws herself in the middle to stop them. I mean, if you're going to let yourself be killed, I guess a hospital is the best place to do it, unless you have to travel. But to her good fortune, Kakashi shows up and saves her by deflecting both of his battling students. Sakura was there when Sasuke defected. He easily knocks her out to stop her from screaming. When the Sasuke recovery team is formed, she's there to send them off, crying to Naruto to bring him back. When part 2 begins, she proves her own growth. Not only has she grown more intelligent, but she's also grown stronger as well. When Naruto gets back from training with Jiraiya, Kakashi reforms Team 7 and offers another bell test. This time around, Sakura proves her worth. Her abilities surprise both Naruto and Kakashi. Despite this growth, there's still not much of a real threat against Kakashi, and only when Naruto threatens to spoil the ending to the latest edition of Kakashi's favorite novel series does his guard lower enough for them to get the bells. During the Kazekage rescue mission, Sakura displays the extent of her medical ninjutsu by removing the poison from Kankuro's body after he is poisoned by Sasori. Sakura manages to land a decisive blow against Sasori during battle. She ends up both poisoned and mortally wounded during battle, but is saved by Chiyo. Chiyo then told Sakura not to waste her own life to protect someone as old as she was, again before expending her own life to bring Gaara back. Sakura was also present at the Tenchi Bridge recon mission. She played an instrumental part healing Naruto after his use of version 2, leaving his body heavily damaged. Sakura herself had also been hurt in the battle. They eventually catch up to Sai and Orochimaru and find Sasuke. Sasuke incapacitates everyone but Sakura, and Sakura attempts to attack him. Sasuke is about to counter when Yamato saves Sakura. Sasuke retreats with Orochimaru and spares Team 7 at his request. During the Akatsuki suppression arc, after Naruto's arm is damaged by his new technique, Sakura is the one to heal him. While Naruto's wound heals, she helps him eat at Ichiraku Ramen, where Konohamaru appears to display his new technique, sexy girl-on-girl technique, which Naruto approves of but disgusts Sakura. However, the events are different in the manga. In the manga, Konohamaru uses sexy boy-on-boy technique, and it's Sakura who approves and Naruto who's disgusted. This leads Konohamaru to believe that Sakura is actually just as perverted as he is. Sakura takes part in the Itachi pursuit mission and is shown to have little to no tracking skills whatsoever, and so Kakashi teams up with 2 of his ninken. During Pain's assault, Sakura was there when Jiraiya was mentioned to have died and was helping Shikamaru decipher Jiraiya's clues. When Pain actually attacked the village, she was there saving as many civilians as she could. She fought off Pain's centipede to save civilians and worked at the hospital to heal the wounded. When Tsunade was out of commission, Sakura took the wheel and ordered all villagers to evacuate the area near Naruto when she sensed he had entered his version 2 form again. She also healed Hinata when she was wounded by Pain, which was actually how Naruto awakened his version 2 again. After Konoha begins to be repaired, Sakura was the one to inform Naruto that Tsunade had entered a coma. After this, Sakura cries a lot on multiple occasions. During the 5 Kage summit, she reaches Naruto and tells him that she loves him, which is such an obvious lie that even Naruto caught it. But to her credit, she did try to let Naruto off the hook and then tried to kill Sasuke herself. She failed, but she tried. However, that didn't last long as she let her emotions get the better of her and only caused problems in battle against Sasuke, as her will gives out before she can really do anything besides become a hostage. During the 4th Shinobi World War, she's added to the 3rd Division. Sakura was primarily support as she mostly healed others. She was the one giving orders when Zabuza and Haku attacked them. She was later reassigned to the Logistical Support and Medical Division, where she spends a lot of time healing others. When it was revealed that there was an imposter among us, Sakura was the one to discover that it was Neji, or more like the White Zetsu pretending to be Neji, was the one behind it all. She informed Allied HQ about it and proceeded to perform an autopsy on the Zetsu, where she discovered its wood release capabilities. Later, a scroll of all the dead shinobi is taken, and Sakura is the one in charge of the team sent after the reincarnated shinobi who stole it. Most of them are sealed, and the mission is accomplished. Sakura is there during the final battle of the 4th Shinobi World War, where she heals Might Guy and Kakashi. When Naruto is wounded defending them from Tenpenchi, she heals him. When Sasuke arrives on the battlefield, Sakura joins up with him and Naruto to fight the Ten-Tails Beast clones, where she boasts incredible power due to her strength of 100 seal. She summons Katsuya to heal the others as the battle continues. After she finally catches up to her teammates, she finds herself sidelined when Obito becomes the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. After Obito is defeated, Sakura proceeds to attempt to heal Naruto after Kurama is stripped from him. However, she finds she can't keep him alive this way and manually pumps his heart after making an incision in his chest. She's sent to the Kamui dimension by Kakashi to continue attempting to heal Naruto. Obito shows up there later, and she's wary of him, but allows him to seal his half of the Nine Tails into Naruto. After this is done, Obito asks her to destroy the Rinnegan he had before Madara. The new Ten-Tails Jinchuriki can reclaim it to launch the infinite Tsukiyomi. However, before she can, Madara appears and she's ejected from the Kamui dimension by Obito. She then finds Kakashi and attempts to heal him after his loss of an eye at the hands of Madara. Naruto instead gives him a new one. She later attempts to attack Madara, but is stabbed by his truth-seeking ball. Despite their best efforts, Madara launches the infinite Tsukiyomi, having been saved by Sasuke's Susanoo. And spared from the infinite dream, they're confronted with Madara. But before Madara can do anything, he's betrayed by Black Zetsu and transforms into Kaguya Otsutsuki. All through the battle, Sakura seems just as much occupied by how cold Sasuke acts towards her than the battle at hand, which makes her seem even more obsessive. She's mostly support in this battle, trying to help Obito keep track through Kaguya's maze of dimensions, and manages to help save Sasuke from a desert dimension. When Obito dies, his spirit allows Kakashi use of his Sharingan to allow him to use Susanoo against Kaguya. Naruto and Sasuke are getting ready to seal Kaguya, but she appears to be about to escape. Before she can, however, Sakura punches her in the back of the head and stops her, allowing Naruto and Sasuke to seal her away into a new moon in one of her dimensions. In the last movie, she spends 3 days straight attempting to heal Naruto. She also manages to break free of the genjutsu they fall into when going to the moon. In Boruto, she manages to really blow Shin Uchiha away, which even Naruto and Sasuke were having issues with. All this being said, Sakura isn't weak. She has the strength of 100 seal, and her healing techniques are on par with those of Tsunade. Just as Naruto and Sasuke each trained with a member of the legendary Sannin, Sakura did too, and she seemed to have matched Tsunade in both strength, intelligence, and healing abilities, even getting that ability Creation Rebirth, which allows her body to heal incredibly fast. It's the same technique that Tsunade used to survive being bisected, so it's obvious that Sakura has the strength and potential to be truly a holy member of Team 7. But does potential equal reality? Verdict. Sakura is truly a strong kunoichi, and while she does have a lot of potential and growth, it's true that she wasn't exactly what she could have been. She cries a lot, and she seems to cause more problems and drama than she's worth. By the time part 2 rolls around, she's grown quite a bit, and we're given hope that she would become a far bigger player in the story. However, by the time the Tenichi recon mission ends, we've once more lost hope. This isn't exactly her fault, as many other strong characters fall under Naruto and Sasuke's shadow during the course of part 2. However, Sakura just doesn't seem to get a fair shot. She seems more often to serve as, like, a trophy. Something to keep our mind on the romantic aspect of the series, and to remind us of Team 7's bonds. She reminds us a lot. Now, is this to say that Sakura is useless like the memes say? Well, no. Memes are meant to be funny and oftentimes exaggerate quite a bit. While I would have loved to see more badass Sakura moments like that time she totally obliterated Shin, we also need to remember that her focus was never exactly on fighting. She learned how during part 2, but it was never meant to be her main ability. Her usefulness is in her intelligence and healing ability. She's a support character. She's a healer. If anyone's played an RPG like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy, you realize just how important support characters are and healers are. She saved Naruto and Sasuke's lives more than once, and I can assure you, if she never existed at all, the story would be incredibly different, and far darker. How many times has Naruto relied upon her healing abilities? So the bottom line is, Sakura didn't completely live up to her fullest potential. She could have been so much more if she could just dry her eyes long enough, but she is far from useless, and anyone who says she's not is either joking or doesn't know anything about her. Well, that's it. That's my analysis of Sakura Haruno. I hope you liked it. I'm sure many of you will disagree, and many of you might support her more than even I do. Regardless of which side of the argument you're on, please leave a comment below and let me know. And when you leave a comment, please respect the opinions of your fellow commenters. I would heavily appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a like to show your support for the channel, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and ring the little bell to be notified when new content drops. Peace. Whoever writes this knows that I say peace. It's really funny. Peace.